All right, we have a very special guest here in the studio with us. This is introducing to our audience, crappy childhood fairy, Anna Runkle.
Hello.
I stumble over that name every time, Anna, because when you put crappy in first position, it makes it sound like you're crappy, but you're talking about people's crappy childhood.
It was the crappy childhood,
okay.
And I'm the fairy of that.
You are.
Yeah.
So you kind of got on our radar because a situation has arisen where you're a person on the internet, like so many other people. You give advice to people. You talk some tough love, and you've never said, is this true? You've never claimed to be a licensed psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Not only don't I claim it, but everything I do has a disclaimer. I'm not a therapist. If you need a therapist, you got to go to a therapist.
Right. So how did we get into this mess where you're suing, they're suing? What is happening here?
Well, almost 2 years ago, I got this weird letter, and I thought it was a phishing scam.
Mm-hmm.
It was on this
in the mail.
In certified mail. I'm like, what's going on? That's usually not ever good.
No.
And it was a letter that said, you have to stop operating. You're practicing therapy without a license. You're claiming that you cure PTSD, that you treat people, and you have to stop everything and pay a fine. And I thought, obviously a scam, because anybody knows that's not what I do. Crappy childhood fairy. Does it sound like I'm impersonating a therapist?
Well, let me ask you, though, so that was sent to you by whom?
It was sent by the California Board of Psychology.
That's wild.
Yeah, and so there's a couple dozen of these boards for licensing, and they're governed by the Department of Consumer Affairs. I think that's who first sent it. They sent an investigator to my house. She said, "Oh, this sounds great." She took home a bunch of my handouts. She just liked it, and then I thought I was fine. And then a year later, I get another letter. And this time they're like, yeah, you have to stop. And so I thought, I guess I got to get a lawyer. And I got a lawyer. They're like, oh, yeah, they do this. But there's no way this will go anywhere because it's so crazy.
Right.
Next thing you know, 2 hearings later.
Full-on court hearings.
Well, this is administrative court.
Okay.
And it's very interesting. A lot of people think these courts should be abolished. You have no due process rights. They have no obligation to tell you exactly what you did wrong or what they would like you to fix. And you don't have a right to express yourself. I had to sit there for 2 days in a Zoom meeting with all these guys just making 100 accusations from, you're a grifter, you claim to be a fairy, you're a fraud. Wow. And I had no right to defend myself. And
my God.
Yeah, I had a lawyer who sort of vaguely understood what I did. This is a very low-level court. And they had an expert witness who went in there, and of the 4 things he accused me of, it was you speak with authority, you charge money to coach people, which is part of my business. Most of my business is free. But if it was all paid, I still have a right to do that.
Right.
Coaching is legal.
Yes.
Expressing yourself is legal.
Life coaches. Yes. In any manner that you want to is completely legal.
Yeah.
Does it feel like, and sorry to the Karens of the world for the reference, but does it feel like one person got this up there, and then just started pursuing you?
Yeah. Well, it all started with a complaint. I finally saw it last fall. A year and a half go by before I know anything about what is this even about.
How did it start?
So somebody had come. I do these very large free Zoom calls. I teach a technique for how to write out your tough feelings, then meditate afterwards. And it works really well, but it's very specific how to do it. So I was up there all the time teaching on Zoom calls. Hundreds of people would come from all over the world.
And these are free.
And they're free.
You're just a woman who has been through whatever you've been through in your life, and you're offering your experiences to others.
I'm somebody who grew up in a commune in Berkeley.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
radical.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, everybody was on drugs and having sex on the floor, and it was not good for kids.
And
really? Huh.
Your parents lived there with you, or was it
my
one
mom.
single parent?
My parents got divorced when I was 7, and then the whole thing went crazy.
So your mom joined the commune, and
She formed the commune.
Oh, she did. Oh, good.
Now, you think commune, and you think, oh, peace, love, ideals. It was like drugs and sex and craziness. Mm. So it was...
and you're a 7-year-old.
I was, 7 to 9 while we lived there, and...
Yikes.
It was... yeah.
It's a crappy childhood.
There wasn't food, there was just drugs everywhere. There was violence going on. And in those days, they didn't call CPS or anything like that. And so luckily, I was very deft at finding moms and teachers and be like, hey, could I stay at your house tonight? It's pretty hectic at my house. And people would just quietly help me out. So that was, yeah.
Wow.
That was a survival skill. So I thought I sort of coasted through it. But long about my late 20s, I got my heart broken. My mom died. And then I got randomly assaulted on the street. It's just like out of the blue, very violently. Broke my jaw, my teeth, and unconscious, bad concussion. And I would say I had PTSD, but this was 1994. They just thought of PTSD as something soldiers get.
Right.
And they were like, here, take some Xanax and go to therapy 3 times a week. And those are like 2 really bad things to do when you've had a terrible trauma, is just like first go talk about the trauma endlessly and then take drugs to try to cope with how much
the drug thing
screws you up.
I went when I was trying to quit drinking and I was like, I got a real, and I told the therapist all the stuff. And she said, it sounds like you're going through a real rough patch. And I was like, yeah, I'd say. And she's like, well, I'm going to prescribe. And I went, I know you're not listening to me at all.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with this avoidance thing. I'm not dealing with my life. I don't want drugs. And she was like, well, and I just went, okay, so this is not the right person for me.
Yeah.
And you have to go to someone else.
Yeah.
Find someone else that will help you in a way that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, therapy, I'm one of the people. It turns out like statistically, maybe a third of people who had early trauma, it does something to your nervous system and your brain where you might have a lot of good coping skills, but under stress, you'll start to kind of glitch, overreact, space out, start to get discombobulated, make really bad decisions. I didn't learn that until this book came out in 2014, The Body Keeps the Score. It was a book that influenced a lot of people, but I happened to read it, and it said this is called complex PTSD. It comes from a lot of chronic, ongoing stress. It has a classic cluster of symptoms, and I was like, oh my God. Finally, somebody has explained it. And it has this key feature called dysregulation, which now people know that word.
I don't know it.
Oh, well.
Tell me.
I'm going to leave you with a book. I wrote a book called Re-Regulated that's like the story
of how I figured it out. How you figured out your dysregulation.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
Yeah, but it's your nervous system is this beautiful system that regulates you, and it runs your hormones, your immune system, your ability to have cognition, to be perceptive, to read the room, to tell when something is safe or positive or a great idea. Your nervous system is like doing all this for you. But if you got neglected, neglect is really as harmful as like physical abuse, any kind of abuse. It can it can cause you to sort of glitch out on those functions. And so you see these huge correlations. People who were went through trauma as kids have extremely high rates of chronic disease, not just depression, anxiety, addiction, things that you would expect, but like they have a higher rate of cancer, dementia, heart disease, hypertension. And then also,
hence the title. What's the title of the book again?
Re-regulated.
But the body.
The body keeps the score.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a popular idea out there now. That I think this is a metaphor, frankly, but it's that your body holds on to the trauma. Your body gets slammed by the trauma. It's a lot of hormones. It's a lot of like malfunctioning. It changes how your capillaries function. So you get sick easier. It's harder to heal wounds. And so if like I had a surgery once when I was like at a really bad time. I had just gotten divorced. I had 2 little kids. Everything was terrible. I had no money. And I couldn't heal from the surgery. I ended up having 14 surgeries, trying to fix that surgery. And they kept going, why is this happening? And finally I had answers. It's like, because when I'm under stress, my history of trauma makes my body not work very well. But when I know how to re-regulate, my body does work really well. And so does my mind. And so does my ability to make decisions and my ability to be loving when I want to be loving and present when I want to be present and to even have a choice.
The bottom line here is you are a person who's been through it.
Yeah.
You have found things that have helped you cope, and in an effort to help other people find their own ways to cope, and whether it's through your methods or just you're the first step, you're not telling them that you're a therapist or a psychologist.
Yeah.
you're now you've found yourself in trouble with this sort of low-level administrative court. Is that what you called it?
That we're done with them now. They ruled against me. They listened, to everything, and they just said what they were going to say anyway. At this level of court, it doesn't matter if the judge. I have no right to know what the judge ruled. It doesn't matter what the judge ruled. They can still do whatever they want. And
so, what did they want you to do once they made this decision?
Well, initially they wanted me to stop everything, but they became aware, I think, somewhere in the hearing, like, oh, there's the First Amendment, and on YouTube, they can't touch my YouTube or my books. And they called it my website, and they said content. They didn't seem to really understand like the present media environment. They were initially, they're like, you're doing therapy on YouTube. I'm like, have you seen YouTube? Do you know what it is? Like, you couldn't do that if you wanted to.
It's not a Zoom.
It's not two-way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but then they zeroed in. I do coaching, and I can't now. I'm now prohibited.
You did coaching is
I
what
did
you're
coaching.
saying.
People could pay me to come be in a small group or come talk. It's really like a consult. I would only do one-offs. I'm not interested in seeing somebody every week. It's not that structured. They'll be like, look, I have this relationship. What do you think I should do? And you go, you want to know what I think you should do? I think you should do this. So I got that. So I've for 32 years, and a girl named Rachel here from San Francisco, she saved my life after that assault. And the therapy I was honestly about to, do myself in. I was so hopeless. I was getting worse and worse. And she said, do you want to try this thing? And she learned it from this one guy named Tom in AA. I'm not in AA. I don't have that problem, even though everybody in my family did. But I might as well have, because the way I was functioning was that serious. And she just showed me how to do this writing. She said, go learn meditation. And within 2 weeks, I would say I wasn't depressed anymore. I didn't have PTSD symptoms anymore.
Just using this method.
I just had this like shitty life.
Oh, you can't say that. No.
Dump it.
It looks
We're
like it got
talking
dumped.
to...
No S word.
It's okay.
Yep.
We're talking to Crappy Childhood Fairy.
Yep. Anna Runkle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I have a question before we move forward.
Yep.
You mentioned your mom had passed away.
Yeah.
Did you and your mom reconcile before she passed away? It would be hard to forgive anyone, more importantly, a parent that was supposed to have your back.
And right. Hearing that there was no food and everyone had their drugs going is heartbreaking.
Well, I did everything I could to have a relationship with her, but she was very far gone with hard drugs and alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Very far gone. She couldn't really do it. So in a weird way, it liberated me to realize, like, if I'm going to be happy and okay, I'm going to have to figure this out. Like, she's not going to ever just give
Come
me
around.
some magic words here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What? Wake up! Thank you with Sarah and Vinny.
Ding, 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 ding.